Breakfast with Champions.
Take it away, girl.
Well, good morning. Is my microphone working?
Yes, it
Your
is.
microphone's working. It's a hair muffled,
Awesome.
but we can hear you.
Okay, so I am in the vacation capital of the world, Oregon, so I'm going to have noise in the background. So, welcome and good morning, everyone. First of all, I definitely want to say grateful to the Lord above that Triple J's surgery went well, and so if you please continue to keep him in your prayers as he continues to recover. I believe it was heart surgery, so please make sure that you keep him in your prayers. It's a long road ahead for recovery, so I'm sure he's going to be waking up and dealing with a lot of muscle pain. So with that, good morning, everyone. We are continuing Mary Lynn's little cruise, and one of the things I wanted to tap into today was on a scale of 1 to 10, how are you in connection sealing the deal? So I decided with Dr. Dale that we were on this cruise. It's about to come into port, and that last buffet breakfast in the morning, we had seen each other on the boat, we passed each other on the boat, and we decided to have a conversation. And what are you, on a scale of 1 to 10, doing to ensure that in those moments that you don't take it for granted, right? Those they're unplannable. You can't plan for these things. So you run into someone, how do you seal the deal? How do you go up to someone and build that connection so that you're building relationships all over the place where you go, whether you're on vacation, whether you're just out for having fun or on a business trip? What are you doing? So on this Lido deck, I have seen Dale all over the place. So I'm going to go up to her and definitely connect with her. So, Dr. Dale, how has the cruise been for you?
Oh my goodness, the food, the people, the water, the sunrise in the morning. It was such a great experience. I have to get the rest of my family here. What about you? Like, seriously, I really enjoyed it. I'm so glad I came and I almost didn't come. Like, almost didn't.
Seriously, I have been trying to stay away from the buffet line, but yet here I am again. And I've seen you on the trip, so I've seen that you've definitely had a lot of fun. My family as well, and I'm glad that no one jumped overboard. None of those things happened on this trip, which I'm grateful for. And I definitely look forward to, going back to the daily grind of the week. I
Yes.
feel so refreshed and happy.
I tell you, boy, the crew people, like I don't think every single person in the world understand the value of cruise because you get a snippet of the world on the water. And we're always high traffic, especially we're in like high cities and whatnot, but the water and nature and connecting with the environment and just seeing it from that perspective, it really takes you on an introspective, retrospective point of view. And I think that was highlighted as well earlier in the conversations.
Oh, awesome. So what is it that you do, Dr. Dale? And I'd love to connect with you even after we come into port. I'd love to definitely stay in touch. What is it that you do, and where do you live?
Oh my goodness, thank you for asking. Absolutely. I would love to. I would love to. I am a human resources executive. I all things they say that, oh, you're the people that hire and fire people. No, we also give them a future. We also give them a future. So we also give them a future. And I am also an emotional intelligence coach, all things emotional intelligence. I live in Florida. Florida is live. They're like, why would you go on a cruise if you're in Florida? Because people that live in Florida probably don't see Florida as, 100% of just vacation because we live there. That's why.
Oh my goodness, that is awesome. And you know what? I'd love to bring you into my job. I'm an engineer, gone to the dark side of program management and project management, but I would love to bring you in to do a workshop with some of our managers.
That
You said you were a
sounds
coach. I would love to have that opportunity to offer to some of our managers where we work. Their skills are they're a little challenged on the introvert side, but I think having these skill sets helps to build those soft skills. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea. Yes, let's do that. I'm so glad you caught me right before we got off this boat. Like this is great. This was a godsend. Yes, let's do that. Let's exchange contact.
Awesome. But okay, so coming back to the room in BWC, you see how you can just connect with people, see how they're doing, and then not just connect, but also get the opportunity to even have further connection or business. Or it could be that your kids connect. It could be that you're, in the same community outreach. It could be that it's going to do something that brings value to someone you know, or maybe this person has expertise that can help somebody that's in need that you know. You just don't know, or that person might be connected to someone else who can do that and bring a value in some way, shape, or form. So with that, I am going to pass on the baton to Dr. Dale because I am about to depart from the vacation capital of the world, New Jersey. And I definitely don't want to have issues with my signal. So, Dr. Dale, I will pass the baton on to you.
Thank you
Ramon,
so
you sounded
much.
like a robot. I think Ramon was trying to give his
Was he?
endorsement of New Jersey being the vacation capital of the world.
Oh, Ramon, much respect. Okay, Ramon, I know that I know what you said about New Jersey, but it's Florida. I'm sorry to tell you, look at the research. It's Florida.
Well, Dr. Dale, to go along with the theme of meeting and greeting and getting to know and how that can open doors is where in Florida are you?
I am
I'm
in.
in,
Can you hear me?
yes,
Yeah.
I'm in St. Petersburg.
I am in Gainesville, Florida. How far? You are like an hour, 2 hours, or something like that from me.
Yeah, I used to take my son to camp over there at Crystal Springs, so it's not a bad drive. So good to know. Glad that Dora Maria
Yeah.
was able to connect us and see how that can work too. So thank you.
Absolutely. That's really cool. Thank you, Vernon. I love. I wanted to pop in on your segment, and I think as well as Monica's own earlier, I wanted to kind of bridge it all together with the connections and everything. Marilyn, you mentioned earlier about healing from your emotional wounds. This conversation couldn't have been any more perfect with me, all things emotional intelligence. And then Monica mentioning about, that internal work in terms of that grit, right? And that internal work going from best to great to greater and just becoming that best version of you 100%. So, for those that don't know, I am Dr. Dale. Like I said earlier, I love emotional intelligence. That is my jam. I recently completed my doctorate in business administration where I did my research on emotional intelligence, you guys. Emotional intelligence. I am on a cruise of Marilyn. I'm on a cruise of connecting and remember, letting all the workplaces, all of the any all the professionals know about what it is, why it's important, and why they should add it into their lives, right? I empower these professionals like yourself to master this emotional intelligence, right? By honing in on their superpower, right? And our superpower, there's a quote, and it's kind of unknown who said the quote. If you guys find who it is, let me know. But I've searched and I couldn't find it. It says, "Of all the knowledge you will attain in your lifetime, knowing yourself will be your greatest achievement." I'm gonna say that again. Of all the knowledge you will attain in your lifetime, knowing yourself will be your greatest achievement. Meaning that's your superpower, right? And we think to Marilyn's point earlier, knowing yourself, knowing yourself and healing from your emotional triggers, your past experiences, your traumas is where life is at, is where it's at, right? Because the emotional triggers, allows you, unfortunately, to have that inner talk, that inner conversation with yourself. So the question is, and I cover this on my live on LinkedIn on Wednesdays, it like we covered your self empowerment, your self acceptance, accepting yourself no matter what, just falling in love with yourself, good, bad, indifferent, whatever it is, not putting it in any category. Oh, that's not good, I shouldn't feel that way. No, 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 no. You got to bring it. You got to. My mom says all the time, when we were younger growing up, my mom used to say, I used to, when she used to give us the broom to sweep, and sometimes, I'll be honest with you guys, I would sweep the dirt onto the rug. Growing up as a kid, we did some stuff, man. Who can relate to those kinds of things? Anybody can relate to that kind of stuff. Like, I did that like 7, 8 years old. I did not like
Me
doing
too.
housework. Who popped it?
I didn't want to eat my peas, so I hid them in a drawer. So that was found out later. You can't. Whatever's done in the dark will come to light.
100%. 100%. So about food, my sister would give me, what did she would give? She would finish eating her food before me, and she would eat at a faster pace than me. And I was like, don't leave me here. And she was like, throw it under the table. So I threw my food onto the table, further onto the table, because the table was like against the wall or something, as if and then I will come back and sweep it up afterwards, so my mom would never know. So the crazy things that you do. Anyways, to the point, you do those things because you don't know. You say all of those things, and all of those things happen to you, and you don't know how it's going to affect you later on in life. So, there's a book, and I'm sure, I think some of the mods on here have mentioned it a time or two, about how the body keeps score. There's a book called The Body Keeps Score by Bessel van der Kolk. And they did an experiment, you guys, in this book. And they did an experiment on a controlled group of children, and a controlled group of kids that grew up with parents that were that supported them, that was there for them, that gave them love, was 100% all the way there, good parents, right, and raised the kids right. And then they had this other group of kids that didn't have really good childhood experiences, and they saw, they were raped. These kids, they saw people being raped. They saw death. They saw people being killed. All of it, all the things that a child growing up should not see, the things that you stop your kids from seeing, even on TV, just a glimpse of it. They experience all of those things, these kids growing up, right? And these kids now are, as they're growing up, the scientists, they follow these kids, right? And you know what happened? Thanks for putting the book in there, Dora Maria. They saw and you know what happened? When the kids were growing up, they showed these kids a regular picture. Both of the groups, they showed them a picture of a dad fixing a car, a picture, with mom going for a walk in a park with, holding the kid's hand, like regular, normal pictures. They showed them the picture and they said, okay, tell us what you see. And the controlled group saw, just looking at this picture of this dad fixing, like, on a Saturday, waking up, fixing the car, underneath the car, kind of fixing whatever he's fixing. And the group of kids that grew up with family, with good parents, and were, had a good, healthy childhood growing up, these kids saw that picture and they said, oh, dad is about to finish fixing the car, and he's afterwards we're going to go for ice cream, and then on our way to a vacation, da 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 da. So they give all of these, like, oh yeah, you can get behind that, I love that. And do you guys know the other group of kids, they show this same picture too, the kids that went through all of the trauma growing up, they showed it to them. And these kids, this is just amazing. And when I kind of was reading the book, the scientists that said it, I said, oh my God, that's terrible. The kids actually say they saw that same picture of that dad under the car fixing it. They said, "Oh, that car is about to drop and just, split his brains in two. And then the mom is going to come outside and she's going to be all freaked out and she's going to kill herself too." And the scientists were like, "Oh my God." Like, you see the stories we make up, we make up in our heads, because, and this shows comes to show how important it is that what we see really affect us 100%. Do the reason there's work out there that says that 90%, no, I'm sorry, 80% of how you perceive the world comes through your eyes. Like, think about that, you guys. 80%. So if how you perceive the world, that means not 80% of you as an adult. This is 80% of you as a child growing up. All of the things that you see, which is why your parents, when you were younger, they try to shield you from all of the things on the TV, or experiencing things that you shouldn't see at the right age. You have to be at the right age to see certain things, because it really does affect you, right? So these kids had those experiences, and now growing up, they have to go through this whole therapy of, unlearning and letting them see that the world is safe, that it is okay to be happy, that no, nothing is going to happen to the dad. Like, he's not going to, his brain is not going to, split into two, and like, really, that to let them know the world is safe. But because of what they experienced growing up as little babies, little kids, that changed their perception of how they saw the world. So picture those kids into adults, right? Adults that are in their 20s, their 30s, their 40s. And to Mary Lynn's point earlier, healing from your past triggers, experiences, is that tells you how important it is. Emotional well-being, unresolved emotional wounds can significantly impact how you see yourself overall. Carrying those baggage, those past experiences, can lead to a persistent negative emotion, such as, you name it, sadness, resentment, anger. Like, who wants to pop into the conversation and kind of share their experiences, their point? Or maybe someone that has had, that's, see the world a different point of view, and just you experiences it, and anybody.
Hey, Ramon, can you hear me okay?
Absolutely. Hi, Ramon.
Hey, good morning. I hope it's okay. I jump in on 2 sessions. If not,
no, you're fine.
Okay, great. 2 things I want to share is that one of my friends hates police officers. He hates law enforcement, hates cops, just hates the whole complex. I believe he even hates white people to some degree. And I never understood that. He's my good friend. We talk back and forth and laugh and all this. And Dr. Dale, I realized I had to have mercy, compassion on him. Mm-hmm. Not because of this only, but give my background. I was born in the state of Ohio. Only black folks in my neighborhood. My best friend was white. Law enforcement to me is cuddly. That's who you run to when there's a problem. They help you with the cat, and it's stuck in the ceiling. That's my whole experience, my whole life. Never been affected, never been abused, never had my head on a car top, never been handcuffed. My whole experience has been totally different.
Yeah.
His experience has been just terrible.
Yeah.
And even though I disagree with his views, what you're saying, Dr. Dale, affirms what he's going through. Now I have more compassion on him than saying, dude, you crazy. But that's how he only has been brought up. So your share was amazing.
100%. 100%. And it's, kudos to you for seeing past it, right? And not passing judgment and throwing him to the side and said, "Oh yeah, I don't want you in my circle, because, you're just too far-fetched. You're not in line with what I see for myself." You saw past it. And to some degree, I'm sure, as you're having that relationship with him and building and having that friendship, he's gonna see from, to some degree, because they say, who are the 5 people you hang around, that's who you eventually become. Like, he eventually will see, hopefully, that there's another way of seeing things, that maybe they're not so bad. Maybe the police officers, all of them are not bad. Like, all of them, come on, like, all of them.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have lunch with Matt and Monica and him, and we're gonna sit together once a week so I can retrain his thinking.
Ooh. Do it. 100%. Anybody else wants to pop into the conversation or in the chat?
It's Dr. Emerald. Hope you can
Oh,
hear me.
hi. Absolutely.
Hi. So I put in the chat, there's that happiness study from the Kaiser doc that said basically most people by the time that they're 18, about 80% of them have experienced one traumatic incident that like makes them more predisposed to unhappiness and anxiety, depression, and all those potentially bad behaviors. I don't remember who said it, but it was in Breakfast with Champions.
100%. And that is, it's, unfortunately, it's sad, right? Because that means that their point of life, their glass is always half empty versus half full, right? They're missing out on a piece on joy, on true joy, and what it is to really look and see life from a different perspective, right? But that doesn't happen unless they one, 101 emotional intelligence, self-awareness, right? Understanding that what you don't know a lot of stuff about yourself, right? Understanding that because you don't know these things, now once you open your mind up, it allows you to open your mind up to see another perspective, another way that maybe my point of view is a little bit limited. In my coaching group that I do every Wednesdays, I have individuals in there that are from 22 years old to 70 years old to 30s, 40s, and the theme, the resounding theme is, man, I didn't know, I thought I was the only one that thought this way. I'm not alone. You think like that too? Oh, I thought by the age of 70 I would have learned that already. But no, right? Because we're carrying all of this stuff with us that we don't even know, right? And the thing, we've learned here in Breakfast with Champion, once you know, it's really hard to unknow it. You can't ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist, right? You got to do something with that knowledge, right? That's the leveling up that we mentioned in this room, that Monica mentioned earlier as well, that leveling up to that next level and becoming that better, best version of yourself, right? And emotionally, it starts with you, it ends with you, it's with you, right? Having that beautiful relationship with you, right? Improve. One of the other things that emotional intelligence does is improving your relationships. Like, all of the unresolved emotional wounds, it can negatively affect your relationship with others. So start thinking about how, if you don't know yourself, there is no way in the world nobody else can really know you. And I laugh because it's crazy how, think about all of the relationships that you've had probably when you were growing up, your boyfriend, girlfriend, with your parents, with a friend, and you think you don't know me. You don't know yourself. you don't know yourself. So of course the other person don't know you. Not knowing yourself allows it unfortunately it brings in, it create barriers with intimacy, with trust, and having effective communication. Like, I know someone that was, unfortunately was molested growing up, and when she got married, you know having her husband touch, like, she wasn't healed. And I had to, even from earlier on, where before I got into coaching, earlier on, I said, you need to talk to someone. You need to go and deal with that, because your husband, you're married now. So you got to go and have that conversation with someone, because otherwise you're never going to, and then it's going to create the relationship and the trust that you want in now your husband. It's going to create a rift, right from the onset, and that is going to take away from your relationship, and you don't want that. So she eventually went and got help, and great, today they're doing great, their marriage is good. But healing those emotional wounds can foster healthier, more meaningful connections, right, with your loved ones, with your friends, with your colleagues, even in the workplace. Like, oh my goodness, in the workplace, it shows up. It shows up. Like, if you have a 9 to 5 or you've ever had a 9 to 5, it's there. So it's very important. Does anybody want to pop in and kind of share their experience before? I think we got 5 minutes.
I would love to, yes. Dr. Dale.
Oh my goodness, Sulena, hi.
I can share after. Thank you so very much.
Was it Mary Lynn or who spoke just now apart from you, Sulena?
It was Shantae.
Oh, okay,
Shantae and Selena. Oh my goodness. You
okay. Yeah, you guys. Yeah,
Dr.
go ahead.
Dale, it's American Farkets, everyone. I love that you're bringing this up. It's so important for us to talk about. And I am passionate, obsessed, fascinated about human behavior and psychology. And from talking to hundreds of people since my 20s and learning and studying and hosting resiliency and recovery rooms on this space for 3 years, trauma, we think sometimes is always that big thing. It's being molested. It's growing up in a domestic violence home. It's losing your parents at age 12. But you know what? Trauma can be as simple as their day changed for that day. Like, so trauma is not really always based on something traumatic or dramatic. It can be simple things, and it changes someone's schedule. So I love that you bring this up. And also, so many of us don't even know that we're functioning in this space. And if you are physically abused, in any sense, sexually, physically, like in your body's taking the heat for it, even through therapy, as you probably know, Dr. Dale and many people here, that your body can at any point it has like this memory.
Yes.
And so even when you're quote unquote healed and gone through therapy and you're on this good space now, something can trigger it, and that is okay. And your journey is your journey. But I love that we're talking about this because it's so important, because you're right, Dr. Dale, there's so many people out here functioning, right? Thinking they're healed. Meanwhile, they're not, right? We can tell by their actions, by their reactions, by their responses that they're just putting that mask on. So we cannot talk about this enough. So I'll yield the mic. Thank you.
Mary Kim, I'm mad at you. You should have said something earlier. We could have been talking. This is so good.
This is my DM. We'll have to definitely do it.
Yes. I'm going to, yes. See, I'm going to connect with you after this for sure.
Of course, I'm here.
Who else wanted to pop in? Selena, you wanted to say something, and someone else, I believe.
I think it was, who was
Shantae.
Shantae, yeah, Shantae. Go right ahead.
I think you can go, Selena, because I don't hear her.
No worries. So thank you so very much for having this conversation and holding this space. You know, what it brought up for me is, let me share this with you. So it brought up for me my spiritual walk, right? So I remember coming as a babe in Christ, I had a major issue when they would talk about trust the Lord. I'm like, trust who? And they would say, trust Jesus. And I'm like, Jesus, listen, because of my experiences, right?
Yeah.
Regarding men, like, you know, thinking about being in pre-kindergarten and being, you know, sexually abused by my cousin, right? And then going up, and then an uncle abusing me, and then my stepdad, and then my other cousin, and just having that, I was like, trust who? Jesus. Listen, I don't know. I don't think I can do that, right? And then I remembered as well, the other thing is my mom grew up very much so like in the 70s. So I'm born in 71. I was born in 71. So I grew up with my mom being very militant, like going on marching, you know what I mean? We going across the Brooklyn Bridge. I mean, forget it, as a little girl, okay? I remember doing those things. So then, coupled with that, Dr. Dale, you talk about trust Jesus and then trust, and of course, back in those days, Jesus was always displayed as a white man.
Yes.
So think about growing up around a militant mother.
100%,
right?
yeah.
It's like, power to the people, right? We're going to kick down this bridge. Listen, exactly. And we're talking about trust a man when I've been molested a number of times by a man, and then trust a white man at that. I was like, Jesus ain't got no place in my life. I'm sorry. I just didn't trust Jesus.
Thank you, Selena. Christine.
Selena's hysterical, but it is 7 o'clock.
I know it is 7 o'clock. Christina, thank you guys. This has been an awesome conversation. We're gonna hand it over to Christina. I'm here.
No, Dr. Dale, go ahead, wrap up, because we,
Really?
as soon as you wrap up, we are going to announce the winner of the contest
Oh.
before Christina starts.
Oh.
So that's why I wanted to kind of keep it on track. I messaged some people. I'm like, we're gonna announce it. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. No, this was awesome. I'm going to be popping in every now and then here a little bit more often on Saturdays, Dormir, jumping in and kind of helping out. So this is going to be great. You guys are going to make sure I'm working out on early Saturday morning. So I appreciate each and every single one of you guys, and for the comments and the share. And definitely I'll be seeing you guys in these clubhouse streets, especially in BWC Street. So I'll hand it a little over now to Mary. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Well, with that, great job pulling into port, connecting on the cruise, making friends. Look how all that works. So thank you, Dora Marie and Dr. Dale, for playing along with the cruise theme. And Selena, oh my goodness, we'll have to talk. It's so funny. I have been called the blue-eyed devil more than once, and so it's so funny. I can imagine a militant mom. But I love your share. I just dropped my phone. Well, anyway, so listen, guys, all week long, we've had this amazing contest.
What an amazing segment. Look, I just wanted to kind of highlight how I look right now with that sun. I am loving it.
But thank you.
So thank you so much for popping in here. This has been a conversation with Dr. Dale on BWC.
Is that I had this whole big